Welcome, guys. Welcome to Plant a Garden TV. How you all doing? At Plant a Garden TV, we try to grow our garden natural. So you can always check out our channel because you're gonna learn a lot about organic gardening. So at Plant a Garden TV, we start from seed, we prep, we start from seed, we prep our soil. And you know what, guys? Sometimes gardening could cost a lot of money. That is the truth. That's facts right there. It can cost you a lot of money, but is depend on your approach. Your approach to gardening, it could cost a lot. Because say for instance, you trying to grow a nice backyard, a big backyard of food. And if you got to go to the store and you got to purchase one seedling, one seedling, one start. So you want to grow cabbage, you got to go and buy a lot of cabbage. You want to grow peppers, you got to go buy, and all these things adds up. Some of these plants is like maybe $5, heading for $6, which pretty soon they might be more. So the thing is, with starting from seed, it really can help you. It really can help you. It even can help save you a lot of money. And guys, believe it or not, sometimes the setup you have ain't got to be too complicated. You know what I'm saying? Because you could go and you could spend a lot of money setting up your nursery. You could spend a lot of money setting up your nursery, and you really don't have to do that. If you understand certain things, it's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. As you can see here, right now, what I'm doing, I'm actually testing seed because, as you know, we're still in January and we still have a lot more time. We still have at least 2 more months to 3 months. Some people maybe 4 months before we even ready to plant. But my goal always is to plant ahead, test the seed, see how the seeds germinating, see how they're growing. So you can always change things around. All right, maybe you might need to use different seed, or maybe you might need to, the seed you might sow mightn't germinate, so you got to catch yourself getting busy to get more seed. So if you ahead of time, it's very easy for you. Even though you sow some seed and they not germinate, you could always go and get more seed. So the thing is prepping, being prepared ahead of time. So when that time comes, your plants is ready to go. All right. Like some people say, you could start your peppers, you plant them at least 8 weeks ahead. Well, you could do it more than 8 weeks ahead. You could actually do it 12 weeks ahead, 3 months ahead. Get your plants them going. It might be challenging because you know it's inside. You got to make sure that they're growing good. One thing I want to tell you guys about leggy seedlings. When some people see leggy seedlings, what they do, they pull them out and throw them away. Well, guys, leggy seedlings, you have to know how to manage leggy seedlings. So for instance, if you see the leggy seedlings is growing and they're getting tall and All you do, you add soil around them to keep them up, to balance them. You add the soil around them, which is very important. And what's gonna happen? They're gonna hold up, and then they're gonna start to push more root. Then you're gonna see they start to get in thick. There's another thing, guys. When you have seedlings indoors, in your greenhouse, in your garage, wherever you have your seedlings, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Please hit that like button. I will truly appreciate it, guys. All right. Indoors, you cannot overwet these plants. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. This is valuable information I'm giving here. One thing I want to say, guys, you cannot overwet these seedlings. I'm going to say it again. You cannot overwater these seedlings. If you overwater seedlings, you might just lose them. I have a way how I deal with my seedlings. I don't wet them that much. Like for instance, this soil, as you can see, you see this soil? This soil, all this soil you see right here, come from a breakdown tree. This is not really dirt. This is actually compost from a breakdown tree that break down for years. And I'm telling you right now, this thing germinates seeds so fast, it's just unbelievable. You know, pepper seed take a while to germinate. These things right there, I don't know if you can see, but these are peppers growing up here so fast. So this is one of the fastest thing I ever use for germinate seed, and see how fast they germinate. So this soil is wonderful. The good thing about this soil, all you do is water it one time. And because of the wood, the tree, it have like a texture. It have like a sponge inside of it. So when you wet it, that holds the water. So when that holds the water, all you wet it one time. I wet this one time and the soil is still damp. It still feel like, and this is the thing, guys. You have to pay attention. You cannot just be pouring water, because you got to remember, these plants did not get in the sunlight. The sunlight outside is what give them, the sun dries out the water pretty fast. So, you got to water them. But when you're indoors, you could test it with your finger. And once you feel moisture, don't do it, because the water sometimes cause the root to rot. Even though you might be ginger, like for instance, this is a ginger I have here. Okay, let me see this ginger here. Okay. I have ginger plant between these peppers right here. And if you notice, this is ginger. And look how this ginger is pushing root, real heavy root in this soil. I now put these ginger not too long ago. And look how this thing done sprout up there already and pushing roots really well. So these are things, guys, you don't want to over wet them. You just want to have some water where the soil is damp, because too much water rot their root. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be ginger, it can be turmeric, it can also be any type of seedlings. Too much water gonna damage their root. So I personally, I'll wet them maybe once every 2 weeks. But what I love about this soil come from the tree trunk. What I love about this, man, it holds water. So once you wet it, that's it. You don't gotta wet it 2 and 3, 4 times a week. From my experience, too much water causes too much problem with the seedlings. And you know what? The thing about seedlings, you have the opportunity to program these seedlings. When I say program these seedlings, what I mean, training them. You have the ability to train them, to give them little water. You just give them enough water to survive. Not to overweight them, but just enough for them to survive. Because remember, all you're doing is keeping them alive indoors. Remember, that's all your job is. Your job is to make sure they survive. Whether in your greenhouse, in your garage, wherever, until you take them outdoor. So you're going to have them, you're going to have to be dealing with them for a couple months. Your job is to make sure that they survive. So you don't want to overweight them. No. If you train your seedling to little water, guess what? They're going to get used to that little water. And when they get used to that little water, when you take them outdoors, you wouldn't have to give them too much water because they're accustomed to survive. They're accustomed to survive from little water. You have the ability, believe it or not, you have the ability to train your seedlings from now, while they're young, while they're baby. Trust me. This is serious right here. The next thing I want to say, guys, your seedlings, when you sow your seedlings in rich soil, you cannot transplant them into poor soil. You got to transplant them into either the same type of soil or a richer soil with nutrients. Wherever you take them from and place them, it should always be a better condition, not worse, a better condition, meaning getting more sunlight, getting more nutrients, getting more minerals. It cannot be worse, because what's going to happen is going to reverse the process. It's going to reverse the process because the plants are accustomed to a lot of water, a lot of mineral, a lot of nutrients, and then you take them now and transplant them into poor soil that they're not used to. So guess what? They're going to stand up there and ain't moving, and you don't have the time to have them there standing and moving, especially if your growing season is short. You don't have the time. So you have the ability to program your seed. Now, these are bell pepper seedlings right here. These bell pepper come from an 8 and 9 feet tall bell pepper tree. These seeds, I'm in control of these seedlings, and I'm guarantee you right now, I'm going to be growing 9 feet bell pepper tree this year again. So we have the ability, guys, especially when your soil is natural, especially when you're in an organic garden, you can be very successful. If you notice here, this is ginger. You see, there's many ways you can root ginger or propagate ginger. There's many different ways. I don't think there's one way to do this. There's many ways to propagate ginger. You could put them in water. You could put them in a wet tissue. You could also put them in dirt, soil, and cover them. Or you could just lay them on top of the soil. Wet the soil, lay them on top of the soil just like this. You see how easy? And just like that, they're going to start gather roots. Very easy. It's nothing complicated. It's easy and it's simple. All right? Like I now show you here. This is ginger right here. This is ginger. And look how this ginger already root. This thing push out so much root in no time. In no time. So now, you see now, where we are now is still early. And we still have months to go. We still have months to go. So now, these ginger are going to be growing and they're going to be pushing root. So I cannot leave them in this container, which I have a lot of them in this container. I have over here as well. Look here again. You see? They're growing. So now I cannot leave them in this container. The only thing I'm doing, I'm allowing them to root in the container, which is start pushing their root and start sprouting, but I cannot leave them. Because we have, if you notice, we have peppers inside here. So if I leave them in this container, what you think gonna happen? They're gonna start growing and start spreading their roots all over the container, and that's not gonna be good enough for me. So now what I have to do now, I have to have, you know, one of them big container about this, about 3 to 4 feet long and 2 feet wide, and about 18 inches tall. I have to put some soil in there and put these ginger inside of it. Because what's going to happen now, these ginger are going to start growing and start pushing their roots. So basically, all I'm doing, I'm rooting the ginger. I'm basically rooting them. These they're just laying on the soil. These, I put them in the soil and cover them. These just laying on top of the soil. So in a few days, these are going to start to push their root. The thing is, there's so much time left before we could transplant these. I cannot transplant these till about April. But what I'm saying is, I just want to be ahead. Sometimes you wait too late. Let me tell you what has happened sometimes. Sometimes you wait too late. And when you wait too late, you realize they're taking too long to germinate. And then you say, oh my goodness, it's getting late. It's March, heading for April. And you realize your ginger would not germinate. I just want to be ahead of time. And in this case, it's going to cause me extra time. But guess what? Ginger take months to germinate, to produce. So starting them now and put them in a place that they can grow. Then take them out in the spring and transplant them. They're going to already be ahead of time. You see what I'm saying? So these are the things, guys. Being successful in this thing, time, it takes effort, and you have to create your own little nursery that can work for you. All right? You have to create your own nursery that can work for you. If you don't do that, you're going to catch yourself spending a bunch of money. I'm telling you. I'm trying to grow a lot of ginger, and I have to start rooting them. I'm also trying to root turmeric as well. This whole container is full with turmeric and ginger, and they're rooting so fast. Everything is growing so fast. This soil is just unbelievable, guys. This is lima bean. Everything is just growing. We have black eyed peas over there. Everything is just germinating so fast with this soil. And I'm going to tell you guys, you don't see bugs and stuff in this soil. Sometimes you get soil, and when you see all kind of bugs coming out of it, all type of flies coming out of it, you ain't seeing no bugs in this. Where did I get this from? I'm telling you right now, I did a video showing how did I get this. This is the rotten tree trunk. And what I did, I take it up and I sift it out. And I sift it out and I sow the seed them in it. This is one of the best, I'm telling you right now. This is one of the best seed starting soil I ever use. Because you just got to wet that one time. The day that you set the seed, that's it. And it holds water. Because the sun is not shining to dry out the water. It holds the water. And that the plants can just feed themselves. This is the type of stuff you want, guys. I'm telling you, sometimes it might be a little challenging, it might be a little difficult, but it's all worth it. Because sometimes you buy these things and you don't know what type of eggs come in them. You just don't know. Then when you catch yourself, you realize stuff flying around. You don't even know where they come from. You don't even know what they is. So my focus is on organic garden, and I'm doing it how the best way it works for me, and the easiest way it works for me, because at the end of the day, I'm looking for success. I'm not just trying to grow a garden because I can grow a garden. No. I'm growing a garden because I'm looking for food from this garden. Okay, look. This is an onion. You could plant this onion in your soil, and you could just put it in the soil. It's going to start grow, and you could just be clipping these and cook with them. The leaf, and it's just going to continue growing. So it's simple ways, guys. You could use these like scallion. Simple ways. You can just have an onion in some soil, and it just producing limbs for you that you could cut up and cook in your pot as onion. Now, what we have here, we have a lot of ginger. That we want to plant. My goal is, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Michelle Landon, how you doing? Nick, how you doing? Blessing everyone. Blessing everyone. How you guys doing? Double tap the screen, hit the like. Yes. Thank you all so much. How you all doing? Oh man. How you all doing? Thank you guys, man. Blessing. Dig for health. All right. Good night, guys. Good night. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. This is an organic garden, and we're going to be doing live from time to time. Sometimes we do live from direct from our garden. All right. So today we're just talking about prepping, and we're just showing you guys how you could have a little simple setup and be so successful. All you need is a warm place. That's all you need, guys. A warm place with any regular light over the plants, and they're gonna do their thing. Especially if you get some nice rich soil. I'm telling you, your seedling will germinate so fast. Your ginger gonna root so fast. So as you can see here, we have ginger, sweet potato, we have garlic, because we want to plant more garlic. We have regular potato as well. Basically, what we're doing here as well, we actually rooting. All of these, we actually got to root them. We also have black-eyed peas. So this is prepping right now, guys. This is prepping. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. This is what you call prepping. Don't wait until the spring to get busy. Get busy. Start getting yourself now. So when spring come, you ain't got to run out there and buy one plant for $5. You already start. Your ginger. If you don't want to start your ginger now, you really don't have to start your ginger now. All right? You could just leave them in a nice, cool place, not too hot and not too cold. And if you leave them, they're going to eventually start pushing out the stem, the eyes. Ginger good. Yes, definitely. Dig for health. Ginger is, that's why I'm trying to grow a lot of ginger, because you see, this is what I'm trying to do now, guys. My goal is growing stuff for my health that can help build my immune system, which is ginger, turmeric, and good food. I don't just want to grow any and everything, guys. Good food that can nourish my body, and also grow them naturally. You see what I'm coming from? Eating your food as your... That's right. That's right, Dig for Health. Eating your food as your medicine. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. So growing ginger, growing garlic, and turmeric, these are immune system booster. These things good for your health. And I always say, guys, every time you harvest, save some for the next season. Every time you harvest, save some for the next season. So yes, guys, so we have ginger growing already, which is pretty early. This whole container is full with ginger. We have ginger there resting on the soil, and we have a whole heap of ginger here as well. But I'm just going to leave these in an area and just allow them to push out the, the eyes for now, because like I said, we still have months ahead before we start planting these. So now I have to have these in a container, at one of them big container, tall container, and just put them down and just let them grow for a few months. Then in a few months, when the weather is really good, You take them out and you put them in the soil. Because if you put them out too early, what could happen? The weather could scratch up all the leaf, which it happened to me before. And because it happened to me before, I know better. So I'm not going to be taking these out until the weather has changed. Shanique Williams, send me some turmeric. Hey, Shanique Williams, how you doing? Good to see you. You need some turmeric? You can email me, okay? Go in my about page and email me. I usually place mine in water. That's a good thing to dig for help. That's a beautiful way as well. You see, like in this container, this have water, and what I have in here is potato. So I have potato in this water here. The ginger, this is what I was now saying a minute ago. You can root ginger in different ways, many different ways. You could use it in water, just like you said. You could use it in a damp tissue. You know the tissue, damp it, wrap it up and put it in a Ziploc bag. You could do that. You could cover it with dirt, which this is what I did with these. I cover it and these things push root in days. In days, they start pushing root. You also can just lay them on top of the soil. Once they get contact to the soil is damp, and they get contact to the soil, they eventually gonna start to push root. So these things are easy. It's not complicated, and this is what I want you guys to know. It's simple. Sometimes if you don't try, you will never know. And sometimes if you just sit down and you just believe, well, I don't know how to do it, so I'm not even going to try. No, it's simple. And you know what? Some people might do it this way and it didn't work for them. And some people might do it and it worked perfectly for them. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. One of the best seed start I ever use is this. One of the best. It's soft, it don't get hard, and when you wet it, it holds the water like the sponge. Where do I get it from? I get it from a breakdown tree. Like a tree fall and break down and stay for years underground and just rotten. It takes some years though, and it just rotten. And when you do, you go and you take a rake and you rake that up, and you get a mesh wire and you tray it and sieve it. I did a video with it too. And you sieve it. I'm telling you, I've been setting seed forever, guys. It's one of the fastest, I'm telling you right now, thing I ever see. The way all these ginger germinate so fast, these things germinate in days. In days, and pushing roots like crazy. In days, guys. So, this is why on my channel we talk about the free gardening. Okay, you send me some turmeric. Yes, I have, let me see. Shanique say I have ginger coming in spring, but hard to find turmeric. What is your, it's in my about page. Go in my email about page and you're going to see my email. I grow from my apartment balcony. so it can be done. Man, listen to me. Dig for health, I gotta give you props for that, man. I gotta give you props for that. If you're doing it from your apartment, why someone who have a backyard cannot do it? You see what I'm saying? So shout out to you. If you're doing it from your backyard, why can't, on your bulk apartment, why can't someone do it in their backyard? Shout out to you, man, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. Shout out to you. I give shout out to anybody who growing from them apartment, for real, because it takes a lot of courage. Yes. So guys, all you got to do in gardening, all you got to do is plan ahead. Plan ahead and sit down and think. Plan ahead. You see me? Look at me. I'm doing gardening for how much years? And do you think I sit down? Do you think I sit down and wait till spring to start doing this? No, I'm doing it ahead of time. Okay, Dick say you can find turmeric at the farmer's market. Yes, you're right. You're right, because guess what? This is where I find my first turmeric. It was from the farmer's market, and then I start growing it every year, and I always try to save some for the next season. You know, there's another thing that I grew. I don't know if you guys know about the Edo. This is the Edo I grow. These are actually food right here again, which I recommend anyone to grow if they could. Why? And these as well, I remember I buy these from the farmer's market about 5 years ago. Just a few. And I plant them. Now I have hundreds. I grow hundreds of these now, starting from like 3 pieces. Now hundreds I'm growing right now. Let me give you an idea. So it's all about I'm telling you guys, at Planter Garden TV, this is full of edibles, guys. This is full of edibles. Do any one of you guys in here know what is edibles? Let me see. Hold on. Buy the organic one and clean it with baking soda. Okay. All right. What? This is full of edibles, guys. You see? Full of edibles. Ready to plant. Do you guys know what is? Oh, okay. Dig for Health say yes. I start out with 3, just like this. Maybe like 3 small ones. This is what I start with. Now, I have hundreds. So every year I harvest and then I save to replant. The good thing about this crop is when you harvest, good food. That's right. That's right. Good food right there. That's right. Right? So now, what I love about these, you can eat their leaf as well. Their young leaf. Yes, their young leaf, watch. You see their young leaf that they grow? We use them, we call them callaloo. But they push out a young leaf all through in the spring. All through the spring season. They push that young leaf. All through the summer. And when you feed in from these leaves, and then at the end of the season, you have the root to harvest. You don't know about it? Let me see. Shanique Williams, man, this is real good food. Edos, you could feed from the leaf, and you see they don't sprout already. But it's too early. We make okra. Oh yes, all right, okay, okay. Man, I love this. I love this. I love this. So guys, yes, I don't grow any and everything. I only grow food that can nourish my body, keep me healthy, keep me strong. I don't just grow anything because you can't just grow it. And it got to make sense. Because if it bulb the immune system, I will love it. Oh yes, definitely. This, you know what? You see this? You see the leaf from this? I remember in the old time, when I was a little boy growing up, I remember when, say for instance, a woman, you know, sometimes a woman might make baby, and then her milk, the baby might born, but her milk is not coming down. They used to boil these leaf, we call it callaloo. They used to boil it, and I'm telling you, this make their milk start coming down. So I'm telling you, these food, that's why I love to grow them. Because when you eat these food, you feel like you eat something. You know, sometimes you eat something and then you walk for a little, then you're hungry again. When you eat these food, man, these food have you feel. There's another one looking like this named Dashin as well. Dashin, yeah. Tanya, yeah. Let me go back. The tree bark seed starting song, so interesting. I want to experiment with that in the near future. Okay, all right. Well, that's a good thing, Shani. I go medical. Okay. That's a good thing, Janika, is always, every year you multiply. And the good thing about it is willing to experiment. Willing to experiment, willing to try. Because you know what? Not because, the thing is with me, not because you ain't grow up after for food. Maybe you might grow up, but you never eat a certain food. That doesn't mean it ain't good. And you know, I grew up off a certain food, but I adapt myself to eating many different food because I understand they all have their benefit, especially if you have the ability to grow them natural. I'm telling you, is something. The way I grow my food organic. So the taste is just unbelievable. Everything you eat is it has such a rich taste. Because I cannot deal with the synthetic stuff when coming on food. If I got to throw synthetic around my plant, then it's better just go and buy it from the store. Because it's the same thing. Yes, Dashin. Yes, Dashin. Yes, I love me some Dashin too. And even the Dashin leaf you could eat as well. So what I'm basically doing right now, guys, I'm getting ready to, I'm rooting sweet potato, which this is one. It already start pushing out. You could see it start pushing out the vines. It start pushing out the vines, which is this. As you can see, we're rooting ginger, which I'm telling you, these ginger is rooting so fast, it's just unbelievable. We have more ginger here rooting. We have lettuce, we have kale, we have peppers growing in this container right here as well. Why I'm growing the lettuce and the kale now? Because them prefer cool weather. So you want to do this now. So by February, you start planting them out. And, because they strive better in the cooler weather than the heat. So you got to get these going now, because I'm not trying to buy a few kale for $6, $7, $8. I'm not doing that. I save my seed and I'm sowing my own seed. So I could plant 20 kale. I can plant 40 lettuce. You see what I'm saying? If I got to go and buy 40 lettuce, you know how much money that's going to cost me? So guys, like I said, you don't need no crazy expensive setup to do seedlings. All you need is a warm place. You need a place that can give them that temperature. Keep it above, I say above 40 degrees. Because it has to be a certain temperature for the seed to germinate. If it's too cold, it's not going to germinate. So you need a certain temperature. Then when they germinate, you could have any regular light over them. You could have a shop light over them. It works too. So, some people are going to tell you, oh, you need this, you need that. Then you catch yourself, you spend $1,000 just to set up, to start your seedlings, when you could do it for free. You see where I'm coming from? So I'm focusing on the cheapest way and at the same time effective. Because sometimes with your $1,000 setup, you still not getting more success than me with my little no setup. The room have to be wherever. If it's in your garage, the room have to be warm enough. It cannot be under 30 degrees and 30. No. It got to be warm enough, and you cannot overweight them. I'm going to keep stressing this. You cannot overweight them, because you're going to create root rot. You're going to lose them. You might see them germinate, then they growing, the next thing you see they just fall down. Growing nice. Next thing you see they just fall down on the ground, and you end up lose all your seedlings. Next thing, you got to start again. This is why it's important to start early. Do not procrastinate and wait for the last minute, because you're going to end up catch yourself buying a pepper tree for $5, one pepper tree for $5, and one okra tree, a couple okra tree for $5, $6. So that's what you see I'm doing. I'm starting early. So say for instance, I set these peppers and they didn't germinate. I go and get some different one and set them. But these germinate nice and they're growing nice. So what I'm doing, I'm not wetting them, no water. The only time I'm going to wet them, maybe in the next 2 weeks, If I push my hand down and I feel the dampness is gone, then I sprinkle it. Not too much water because you indoors. Only thing you're looking for is to make sure that these plants able to survive until you take them outdoors. That's all you got to do. You ain't need to give them no extra water. No, you just give them a little just for them to survive. That's all you're doing. You ain't expect them to grow tall and big and strong up in these conditions. You already know they're not going to grow that. But your job is to make sure they stand firm, build their root. So when you're ready to transplant them, they're ready to go. And there's a next thing too I want to share with you guys. Transplanting. When you have seedlings indoors, whether in your grow tent, whether in your garage, whether in your greenhouse, when the spring comes, you cannot just start taking them and transplant them in the sun. You could lose them. So what you do, you take them out and you put them outside in a shaded area, not direct sun, in a shaded area so they could get hardened. Their leaf, their stem could get hardened. Because if you just take them from in, the sun gonna scorch them up. You don't have time for that. So this is for people who growing in cold temperature. If you're in the tropical, it's completely different. It's a complete different. And this is what people got to understand. People in the tropical have a lot more advantage than the people who in the cold climate. Because if you're in the tropical, you ain't got to do this. You do that outdoors. But for the people who in the cold climate, they have to start indoors. They have to start indoors. Or if they don't start indoors, they got to be prepared to start buying starts. And we all see how starts expensive. You could spend a couple $100 getting a few plants to put in your garden. So it might be challenging, guys, with the seed starting. It might be pretty challenging. But what I'm saying, guys, it worth it. It worth it. Because what? From this ginger, I can get a lot of root from this one ginger. You see what I'm saying? All these, I can get a lot of root from all these ginger. If I got to go out there and buy ginger, like somebody root ginger and I got to go buy them, it's going to cost me a lot of money. You understand? So you got to learn how to do these things. And I'm saying, it's simple as 1, 2, 3. You could take this and put this in some water. Just like that, it's going to root. You could take it, you could put it in some soil, just like what I did here. Look how this thing root beautiful. All right? You could also take it, put it in a wet paper towel, damp it and wrap it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in a dark area. So many ways you can root ginger, turmeric, a lot of stuff. You can root. So it's not that complicated. And if you try one time and you fail, don't give up. Try again. If you try one time and it failed, don't give up. Because the thing is, in gardening, sometimes we fail. And I'm not going to say it's failed. What I'm going to say is it just didn't work. So what you do now, you figure out another way. But don't give up. It's simple. You set your seed, you have them in a nice area, nice warm area with a little light over them. They're going to make it. I'm telling you, one of our biggest problems with seedlings is starting them and giving them too much water. That's one of our biggest problems. Starting them and giving them too much water. Where you got to understand, they indoors, they're not getting that sun. Remember, the sun burns and dries and suck the water. These lights don't do that. These lights just give them that little light they need, but the moisture remain in the soil. So if you keep pouring the water, every 2 days you pour in water, you're going to start to get root rot. And that's where you're going to start to have a problem. Then you're going to see your plants them start falling over. You say, but my plants them was looking good today. And I just water them. And now they fall over, yes, because you add more water. Welcome in everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. Do you cover the seedling with the light? No. All I do, I just keep a light over them, whether it's a shop light, whatever. And that's it. And I don't always keep the light off. Great, you won't regret it. No, you would not regret it. Is your soil frozen in my 7? No, my soil is not frozen. My soil is walkable right at this moment. Walkable right at this moment. Soil frozen out in February. Oh, no. Okay. Dig for hell saying 8B. Okay. Well, if you're in 8B, I know you get your soil is good. Winter sowing is good method. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Seedling plant have become definitely too expensive. Definitely. For real. Start your own seed. Definitely. Garden is a journey and a place to experiment. That's right. I got a question. When do you recommend planting corn? What time of the year? Okay. Well, depending on where you are, you could start planting corn when the weather after the frost, after your last frost, and that's still depending on which zone you're in. After your last frost pass, maybe a week or two after, you start putting them corn in the soil because corn love the heat. Corn strive really well in the heat. So I say at least 2 weeks when your last frost pass. So that depending on which zone you're in. So wherever zone you're in, after your frost pass, 2 weeks. And the truth is, a lot of these things is important. It's important to know because you're looking for result. And if you living in a zone where your growing season is short, you don't have time to play. Hey, thanks for the gift, guys. Thanks for the gift. Appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. Well, let me tell you this. Sylvan, all right. If you want your garden to do great, follow this channel. Follow this channel, subscribe to this channel. We give all type of information when come, and we do organic garden. We also do live stream direct from our garden. We show you how to make liquid fertilizer, natural. We're not talking about store-bought. We making our own fertilizer from the plants that grows in our garden. So follow this channel, and I guarantee you, if you follow this channel, you're gonna have a successful garden. All right? So hit the subscribe button and follow us. Hey, Goodies, how you doing? Blessings to you. How you be? I've been doing good. I've been doing good. You know, garden season coming in, so got to get busy again, trying to share the information, you know. So yes, guys, truly appreciate you all. But what I'm saying is, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit the notification bell, hit the notification bell, because we do a lot of live stream and we don't have no special time when we go live. We just go live when we feel like. So we still have a lot of time, and we're going to be talking a lot about seeds. We're going to talk a lot about soil. Go right down until the spring, when for planting season. We're going to show you how to prepare your soil live in the garden. We're going to show you how to plant live in the garden. That's how we do it, guys. All right? My battery gonna be die. My battery will die in a minute, guys. So if the battery go hatchback 2000, I like this page. All right. So just hit the subscribe button, because there's so much to learn. I'm telling you. We do organic garden, and we do step by step. We start from soil. If you check my channel right now, we have some videos where we start from soil, how to do a raised bed, how to find soil. You can check out my channel. I already start posting video about soil, planting. So you ain't gonna regret it. I'm telling you. You talk about indoor warm bliss. Can you talk about? Well, my next live, we'll talk about that. My next live, because my battery is dead. So we'll talk about that in my next live, maybe tomorrow night. All right? And you know what? You talk about, that's the next thing again. That's the next thing again. And you know what? That's a really good topic right there. Because the warm bricks, here now. Let me just say a few things before the battery then. That's a really good one, because here what? These seedlings, too much heat is a problem too. I've seen it with my own eyes. Because guess why too much heat could be a problem? Because you have them growing in this nice little temperature. You know, nice warm temperature. And the next thing you realize, you might have on your heat, and your heat just gets so hot. That's a problem too, I'm telling you, for real. Your place just gets so hot. When you notice your plants start falling. Why I say that? Because of the light. I remember I had a shop light over some plants. You know the shop light, the big shop light. And I had it hooked up a kind of way. And I don't know what happened, but it ended up come down too low. And it's not to say it come down right on the plant. The way it come down, it was too low. And when I look, when I come and I see my seedling start some of them start falling. So the honest truth is, too much heat sometimes, you got to pay attention. This is why I'm going to say, please start your seedlings early. So if you have problems, you could always reset. Don't wait until the spring to start seedlings because you might just be disappointed. All right? Let me see. Shani say, in the future life, can you discuss how you take care indoors, warm bin over winter? Well, I don't do indoor warm bin. So I can't give you too much information about that. The warm bin. What you mean, like thing in worms? No, I don't even real worms because my garden, I have an organic garden, right? And my garden produce so many worms, earthworms, naturally. Sometimes you dig in and you gotta be careful. Sometimes it's bother me because while I'm digging, I might dig an earthworm and it's really bother me to see that. You understand? So, one of the greatest way to draw earthworms in your garden is using a lot of organic matter. When I say organic matter, what I mean, like dry leaf, just like what I tell you, these type of stuff here, break down tree, the trees them that break down for years. I don't know if you guys understand how rich that thing is. And it's good to be in your soil with a container because why? It holds water. You know, there's a tree. I'm going to tell you guys this. There's a tree that holds water, that you could squeeze the water. It holds water like a sponge. You could hold it and you could squeeze it out, squeeze out the water like a sponge. I have some of them trees in my breakdown. I did a video about that too. You naturally could squeeze the water out the plant. These type of, when I'm doing my raised bed, that's what I put to the bottom. I put that to the bottom and I put some leaf because this is what draws the earthworms. Because I try to create my garden like the forest. You see the forest, all the leaf drop, the limb fall down on the ground and just break down and feed the soil. That's basically the same method I use. So, these things draws a lot of worms in your garden. You see like how a lot of people got to go buy worms and, what do they call it, worms. I don't have to do that. Because organic matter, earthworms love organic matter. So if you continue bringing organic matter, create compost pile with leaves, just leave them there. It draws earthworms. So I don't know, I can't give you no information about it indoors. I really can't. But guess what? Worms can survive in soil indoors. Yes, I've seen it before. I don't think it's too complicated. I really don't think. Once you could have soil for them to dwell in and the play, and it's not too cold and freezing, which is indoor, they might just survive. I don't think it's that complicated. But we're going to talk more about that. And like I said, guys, my battery is dead and I really don't want, I'm trying to get my own warm casting. I agree. And you're doing the right thing. You want your own. You want your own. I agree with you. You want your own. You want to have your own. But a good way to have it natural is putting a lot of leaf, weeds that you might take out your garden. You might see a tree limb breakdown. You just take it and you put it on a pile. And just like that, you're going to start seeing them in the bottom. You're going to start seeing them in your compost pile. You ever put a container underground, like you plant something in a container underground, and when you move it, you see there's worms underneath? Earthworms is it's so much, guys. And when you see, when you do an organic garden, you see a lot of things, and things become so simple. And this is the problem, guys. The problem is today, especially when you're using synthetic, right? Especially when you're using these things, you don't see a lot of things. Because the smell from the synthetic and what might happen might be pushing them away from your garden. So you're never able to see them. You weren't able to see as much earthworms and all them beneficial insects we need. Do we understand that our garden is a system, have to be in your garden? We have to understand that it's a system where all these parasites works together and do their job in our soil. Is necessary. It's important. We need them. So if we keep getting rid of them, our garden gonna lose its value. And if our garden, our soil loses value, our food gonna also lose its value. So this is my goal. My goal is to focus on growing my food the way that I can reap the benefit from it. Not just growing to harvest some food, is growing to harvest healthy food to nourish you. This is not the time, guys. We all see. I'm trying to get my, okay. I have food grade bucket and I have copper tape around the rim. They say worm don't like touching the copper tape. So why you have the copper tape if they don't like touching it? You need the worms them, you know. Okay, Sylvia say, God bless you, man. All right, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you. Thanks, brother. I will be email. Definitely. All right. Yes, guys. So, phone gonna be there in a minute. And we're gonna be going live tomorrow night late again. Maybe 10, 11 o'clock, because we're doing live late session. Straight into the garden season. And guess what? We want everybody to be successful. All right? So if you want to start your seed, you could stick around, hit the subscribe button, follow us, that we're going to be showing you how to start your seed and all these things. We don't set in, like people set in one cup, one seed in a cup. We don't do that, as you can see. We draw lines and we sow it in the line. So we don't have time to set one in a cup. We draw lines and we sow seed in the lines. All right, because if I got to sow in cups, it's going to take me, I'm going to have a bunch of cups laying down. You understand? When I can just get a container, set some cabbage seed, set some lettuce seed, set some pepper. You know what I'm saying? Make it easier for myself. Instead of me having 100 cups, when I can have one container just thing in there. So guys, we trying to prep these that we can get them rooted, getting ready for the next garden season. We also have, I'm going to show you something here. We also have red potato. You know, I remember times gone by when I used to cut the potato. You see, like this is a pretty big potato. So instead of me just put one, I cut it in two. So when I'm planting, I'm going to put them downwards like this. But something I never used to do, and I used to just plant them in the soil. This time, I cut them, I'm allowing this area to quail first. You see? Because it's fresh, I'm allowing it to quail. Because what happened is, when it quail, it kind of create a layer and protect the potato itself. So it's more harder to get spoiled, as you know what I'm saying. So that come like a protection. The layer that comes over it, like a protection. So it's all about prepping, getting yourself together. Don't wait till the spring, because you want to have a successful garden season. Say, for instance, you sow your seed and they ain't germinate in 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Get a different pack or sow some. But the problem is some people gonna tell you that pepper seed take up to 10, 12 days. And my pepper seed them germinate in 4 days. So you see, it's all depends on how the condition. It's all depends on the soil. It all depends on the water, how much water you put, which is important. So my thing is, guys, always, anyhow you do in garden, do it as an experiment. Do it as something you learning. All right? And take notes. Do it as an experiment. Meaning, I'm sowing this seed and I'm going to put this amount of water. Let me see how fast it germinates. I'm sowing this seed, the next set of seed. I'm going to put a little more water. Let me see. So at the end of the day, you just want to see which one works. But from my experience, guys, what I say to you, all you want to do is to make sure that the seed is wet. You don't want to over and have the water, where a lot of people do too, which is a problem, is wet the container, if they have no drainage, and then the water just settle there. You naturally could see the water in the soil. No, that is bad. That could drown the seed. That could damage the seed. All you want to do is to make sure this seed is wet in the soil. That they get wet and the soil is damp. That's all you need. Don't put water that you could see the water swimming in the soil. All right? So guys, another video gonna end, and because the battery gonna end very soon. But guess what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, We're going live tomorrow, 10:30, 10 to 10:30. And we're going to talk more about gardening. We also going to talk about moon planting. Right now it's sowing seed, so we're going to be talking a lot about sowing seed. So we're going to do stages, sowing seed, how to take care of the seeds, and all these type of things. Okay? So see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Wait, hold on. The copper tape prevent the worms from leaving. Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Hatchback. I got you. Okay, okay. That make a lot of sense. Oh, okay. You have yours indoors. Oh, wow. Thank you for telling me that, because you see, that's how we do. We learn from each other. So the tape, what Touchback is saying, he put them indoors and then the tape keep them from coming out the bucket. Wow. So the worms don't crawl out. Right. That make a lot of sense. Okay. I just start my worm bucket saying, all right, guys, I don't want this thing to end, but let's continue this conversation tomorrow. I like the multiple light. Crazy start off with liquor. Okay. No, I have me. All right. All right, good eats. Blessings to all. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. See you guys tomorrow again, all right? Peace and love.